Hi folks, it's just me again, your friendly neighborhood. Well, I'm not trying to start anything here. Really, I'm just trying to get some understanding of the mid-trib point of view and the post-trib point of view. Okay, I got to admit, I am no scholar. I'm no genius or anything, but I have read the Bible a number of times, and I've read the book of Revelation scores of times, many, many, many times. I've gone over it hundreds of times since the 80s. And talking with some mid-tribbers, I haven't talked with many post-tribbers, but I understand that from their point of view, from their position, Jesus is not coming back to get us. He's not coming back for the rapture until the end of the tribulation or the start of Armageddon. Or somehow those two are separate and yet the same. And I understand the mid-trib point of view because the mid-tribbers believe, based on that verse in the Bible that says, the Lord will appear when you see the abomination that causes desolation, being the Antichrist, when you see him in the temple. And he takes over the temple halfway through the tribulation. So the mid-tribbers believe that the rapture is going to happen halfway through, at the midpoint. But because I'm so simple-minded, I have to, in order to get these thoughts and these timelines straight in my head, I have to draw it on paper. So this is what I got. Okay, this is a timeline here. Let's try to make this as... it's hard to see it when everything's turned around and in reverse. Okay, this is the start of the tribulation period, and this is the end of the tribulation period, the beginning of the 1,000 years of peace. This is halfway through. So this is when the Antichrist becomes the beast and he takes over the temple. Right there. So they believe that Jesus is going to come back halfway through, the mid-tribbers, and the post-tribbers believe he's going to come back at the end of the tribulation period. And the pre-tribbers believe he's going to come back before, whereas I'm a pre-wrath believer, and I believe that we're already in the tribulation period somewhere. The Antichrist just hasn't been revealed yet. And I say that because of the River Euphrates being dried up, and the waters turning red, and all the wars and rumors of wars and the animals dropping and yada 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 yada. Okay, based on that, I believe Jesus will be coming back around this particular period, before the great wrath. Okay, here, the 7 years of tribulation, I've divided up into 3 basic sections: the 7 seals, the trumpets, and the bowls. Okay, now, the Bible tells us that the martyrs that are left to live through the tribulation, they're all killed between the 6th and the 7th seal. And if the believers have to go through the tribulation period, who are these martyrs that are being killed? I thought the martyrs were the believers. So halfway through, according to the Revelation timeline, the martyrs are killed before the halfway period, before the Antichrist takes over. And also, the wedding supper takes place before Jesus comes back. Where is it? Before Jesus comes back at Armageddon. Armageddon happens just before the 1,000 years of peace, and the Bible tells us that the wedding supper of the Lamb takes place just before Jesus comes back. So, if Jesus is coming back here at the end, who is there at the wedding supper? Should it not be all the believers? So, from a pre-wrath point of view, or a pre-trib point of view, half the believers leave at the beginning and half stay. The half that are left behind are the martyrs that are killed. So half are going up to heaven in the rapture, half stay behind and are killed, and eventually the half that were raptured, and the half that are martyred, they are there at the wedding supper. And some of them come back at the Battle of Armageddon with Jesus. So that is a pre-trib or pre-wrath point of view, and that's the only one that seems to make sense with the rapture happening here, because this whole 7 years is the tribulation, or the time of testing for mankind. And the Bible is quite clear in Revelation 3:10 that the Lord says He will take His patient ones, the ones that have endured, He will take them away before the time of testing, which puts it around here at the beginning, or somewhere around the beginning of the tribulation period. So half are gone up to heaven in the rapture, half stay behind, and they are killed. They are the martyrs. And then eventually the martyrs' bodies are taken up into heaven to be judged at the wedding ceremony, and then the wedding supper. And that's just the pre-trib, pre-wrath point of view. Whereas if Jesus comes back halfway through, who are these martyrs? And if Jesus comes back at the end, who is there at the wedding supper? So if you're a mid-tribber or a post-tribber, can you please explain to me about that when looking at the point of view of a timeline where the bowls and the seals and the trumpets are all laid out in chronological order? So please help me to get some understanding, because the pre-wrath, pre-trib point of view, it just seems to make more sense. Okay, thanks. Be a blessing wherever you are in internet land and YouTube world. Thank you, faithful subscribers out there. Take care, stay in prayer. See you in Jesus' kingdom somewhere over there, or maybe even somewhere up in the air. Okay, remember, Jesus rules.